Hey everyone, welcome to Our Small Footprint. My name is Nissa. If you're new here, we are a family of 8 who live off-grid in Australia. We are on day 5 of daily vlogs for Vlogmas, and I'm starting in the same place that I did yesterday. So I'm in what is my bedroom, where the laser cutter is. I'm getting the last of the orders before Christmas sent out, which was these last few trees that I was waiting on some frames for. So all the trees are cut now. I just have to frame them up. I said I was going to show them packaging yesterday, and I didn't package because Daryl's taking them today. He is currently fetching some water. So we collect our water in 1,000 litre pods from town or from the community bore or from a friend who has a bore as well. Just depends on what we're doing the day and where the water's available. So Daryl is actually going to the friend's place and grabbing a couple of pods today to top up the tank, because with me gone from Tuesday to Friday of next week, need to make sure that they don't run out of water, because we only have one vehicle and I take that vehicle. So he's grabbing a couple loads of water this morning. He also needs to do a tip run because the trailer that I take shopping is full of rubbish, which it happens over the, it's not rubbish, it's stuff that has to go to the tip. It's like excess stuff that we've cleaned out, as in furniture that's broken, or large scale stuff. All the small scale rubbish goes to the community bins. There is some community skip bins down the road, about 15 minutes. It's on the way to town. So any basic rubbish, like our, you know, the black garbage bags that we use to put things that food packaging, all that sort of stuff, we don't have a huge amount of it because we try to make sure that there's no food scraps, because they go to the animals or compost or whatever. But there is food packaging or packaging that comes from postage and things like that. We try and use all the cardboard in the garden. It doesn't always happen, but we try not to have to get rid of the garbage, the cardboard. There is no recycling at our bins, so we try and use the cardboard on the property. Doesn't always happen, but we do try. So the rubbish is mainly soft plastics, things like the packaging from like oats and pasta and all that kind of stuff that ends up in the garbage bin. So Daryl takes those to the community bins on his way to town when he goes. But this, within like once every 8-week period, we fill the trailer up with odds and ends that need to go to the tip. Broken things, large scale stuff that nobody else would want. It's not going to be useful, though we keep a lot of stuff just in case, which is partly why there's, you know, stuff everywhere. So he needs to go to the tip today because I need to leave on Tuesday. The tip is open 1 till 5 today. So he's going to grab a couple of loads of water this morning. Then he is going to go to the tip, and then he is going to grab the go to the post office to post these trees for me, so they will go off today. So I just cut the last one for today. It's one for, oh, it's not, my thing's not closing. I want to close it to put the light back on for you to see. It is for Mabel, and she already ordered a few of these trees, and this is another one for that because someone else wanted it. So these are a really complicated tree. They look really cool. Let me turn you around. So this one has just been cut, just finished, and I'm going to pull this out and clean it up and then get it in a frame and ready to be posted off. So this is a nice complicated one. There's various different, there's a family name, and then there's children and their children all in order. So I designed this in such a way that the children match the parents and things like that. So that one is going out today as well. So that is the task at the moment. Now, I have a whole bunch of stuff I want to try and get done in the kitchen today. I'd like to get some ice cream done for the freezer for the Ninja Creamy, and I want to try those cottage cheese donuts. So that is the plan after I get this stuff packaged up. That's the hopes anyway. I also need to go out to the garden. It'll need a water today. We didn't get rain yesterday. We did get rain the day before. So I didn't water it yesterday, but it will need a water today. And I want to check that zucchini that I pollinated and see if I caught it in time, because then I will make sure that I get that used. I might have to get Sonic to climb into that garden bed with all the cucumbers again too, and see if there's any more cucumbers that need harvesting. So yeah, I don't know what else I've got planned for the day so far. Some kitchen time, getting these packaged up, and that's about it. So I'll bring you along. And then tomorrow is hamper day. So we might do another day of stuff around the hamper and things like that, and we get the hamper sorted, and then Sunday might be my planning day. So I might do a bit of a chat video about the last 8 weeks on keto and planning for the groceries and all that. And then we'll see what happens from that point, because that'll be 7 days of daily videos. So, and then we've got the grocery week. So I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. So, you know, it's just whatever happens. Now, doing these daily vlogs actually doing them isn't too bad because I'm doing them while I'm doing everything else. But I do have to spend a couple of hours every evening editing and getting them uploaded and stuff, which means that I'm not getting downtime of an evening as much because by the time I get it done, I just go to bed. But it's worthwhile for a few things. It's a treat for you guys over the Christmas period because you like watching them, which I still find strange, but you know, that's... but it's really good for the YouTube algorithm too. It's amazing. YouTube is such a weird creature. It is so strange. At the moment with the daily vlogging, I've got my revenues higher, my watch hours are higher, my view counts are higher, but my subs drop. So I lose a lot of subs doing daily videos. And I understand why. It's because people sub when they watch like a grocery video or something like that, and that's what they're interested in. And then when I'm doing daily videos, all of a sudden my face or the kids' faces or like less flattering thumbnails are in their feed every day, and they're like, well, I don't want to keep seeing this, so they unsubscribe. And that's fine. I understand that. And realistically, those particular subs were probably only watching the grocery videos anyway, so they're not, you know, active subs. But it is very strange to watch the sub numbers be in negatives over the daily videos while everything else increases. YouTube is definitely a weird thing to try and understand and use appropriately. And I just heard someone call out to the lamb. So I think the lamb is inside the house. Someone must have left the gate open. All right, it's 1 o'clock. I'm finally getting these trees wrapped up. So I've got a range of trees here for all different people. All of them are in blackwood though. So that was the choice, the paler wood, but we've got them all here to go. So I'm just going to get these packaged up, ready to be posted. Now, I wouldn't have thought I'd like the white on white, but I really like that. I think the white on white is very, very effective with the trees. I'd hate to keep the white frame clean in my environment, but I think that it works really well. So we're just going to get all these packaged up. You can see probably see the kids had texture on this bench, of course. All right, I need some scissors that don't appear to be here. Here we go. Tripod's very unstable on the floor here, so it's moving around a fair bit, but we're just going to do a quick shot of this. So I'm going to tuck a layer of this in here, and then it has its external box, which looks like this. Into a box like this, and then I bought boxes that are just the right size. So we got that. This is one of 2 trees, but the way I bought the packaging was that each tree gets packaged individually just for the safety of it. So there's another big box. Let's move you up a little bit. You can see all the mess around me as well. So that's another box there, and then we're going to put some stuffing in that one. Around the edges, and that will stop it from shifting too much. On 2 edges to create more of a snug fit, and then I have been cutting the box down slightly so that I can make it a more snug fit rather than adding more packaging materials. If I just snip the box like that, and then fold it at the top of the frame box like that, then that's making it more of a snug fit, more layers, and it just more secure like that. So now I'm going to get some tape. I've got water activated tape that I use. And then I bought this water activated branded tape, except that when I bought it, I wasn't aware that some places that let you use QR codes, the QR codes they run out. So this particular QR code is inactive unless I pay a large sum of money for over the like on a monthly basis to be able to keep the QR code corrected. So because I paid for the tape, I'm still using it. I just am cutting off the QR code so that it's still got the branding, it still looks good, but the QR code doesn't just go nowhere. So that's how I box up each frame. And then this one's one of two, so 2 boxes will actually get stuck together for this one. It is 3 p.m. and I'm only just hitting the kitchen. And to be honest, I'm pretty pooped. So it took us quite a while to get the trailer sorted for the tip. So the trailer is the same trailer that I use for the groceries, which is why we need to do a tip run so that I have the trailer available for the groceries. But it means, and if any of you have seen it, it's open on all sides. So we pack it full with whatever needs to go to the tip, and then we have to put netting and stuff all the way around it to make sure that everything gets to the tip, and strap it all on and everything. It's quite an arduous task. I actually ended up getting a little bit sunburned out there because it's just really hot. But it needed doing. The tip was open 1 till 5 today, so that glare is bad, that spot, isn't it? The tip was open 1 to 5 today, so Daryl needed to go get it emptied so that we can get it cleaned up and suitable for the grocery shop. So it had to be done, but it was exhausting. So he grabbed 2,000 litres of water this morning and then took the trailer and he's gone to the post office. So before he could go to the tip, though, I had to finish all the post. So all those parcels are packed up and going into the post office today. So that's good. But yeah, I'm only just hitting the kitchen now. I haven't eaten today. I don't think I had coffee, but I haven't eaten yet. The kids I was lucky the kids still had bread left over, as well as they cooked a whole lot of eggs because we've got a lot of eggs at the moment. So I think they had eggs and bacon and stuff, breakfast sandwich type thing. And Daryl had some chicken and cheese that was left over in the fridge. So they've all had plenty throughout the day, but I haven't got around to anything yet. I might just have a couple of slices of cheese while I'm doing this. So I really wanted to get some custard bases for ice cream done. I really need to get them done so they get in the freezer because it's a couple of days before we can use them. So that's the plan, and we've got all these eggs, so that's the plan. I'm going to do it while we've got heaps of sun hitting the solar at the moment, so it's the best time to run the Thermomix when I'm doing a cooking job. So I'm going to do that, and I don't have to decant the coconut cream because Apollo and Sonnet did it last night so that they could have it in their hot drinks for the evening. So saves me having to do that as well. So I'm going to pull that out and get a custard made for the kids' ice cream first. I normally do a chocolate one, like a proper chocolate custard based ice cream that fills 2 tubs, and then I do the protein fruit based ones. So we'll do the custard one first and then I'll see how I go. But I have to decide what I'm doing for dinner too. I get very frustrated with food by this point of the grocery time. So, I've been doing food for the last 7 weeks from the groceries, and this last week of making do with what we have and figuring out food, and it's always a little bit frustrating. It's always a little bit just feels never ending having to think about what to do for food, and then to make sure that there's a few easy meals for while I'm gone as well. So there is some frozen ravioli and stuff still in the freezer for when I'm gone, but I don't want to use that now because Daryl can use that when I'm gone. And there's still some sausages left, and a few other bits and pieces, so they'll use that while I'm gone. So I need to use the stuff that has to be done something with. So I did defrost some skin on chicken breasts yesterday, so I've got them. I have to do something with them for dinner. I'll have a think about it, but I'll get the custard done first and then we'll see. I just had a thought while I'm having these bits of cheese for lunch, that there was this tomato plant out here that had these tomatoes that were ripening on it. I got some the other day. Now the problem is that this was standing up with these posts, but they're not strong enough and it won't stay upright and weather it. Oh look, and we've got a hornworm there. Tomato worm in that one, which is, oh, and dead one there. So this one's been gnawed on as well. This one looks alright. So this is the problem with the fact that the we'll get, oh, I missed him, that there's no netting on it. Look, half these tomatoes have been consumed. Ugh. Finally get some tomatoes, and because the covers didn't work, they are being gnawed on. So, but these 4 here will be nice to have with my bit of cheese for lunch. So super simple. I'm just going to cut these tomatoes in half, make sure there's nothing in them, since that plant was a bit infested, which just sucks. Just going to cut these up. Now, of course, a couple of these could definitely be riper, but I'm not, like, just I want it. So I think that's a lovely ripe one. That's a bit green. They'll all be tasty because they're grown in my yard. A little bit of salt. And then I'm just going to cut off some of the Mercy Valley cheese that I really like. It's lovely and crumbly and soft, and I'm just going to have some cheese and tomatoes. Alright, so the basic chocolate ice cream that I make, I use whatever chocolate I can get cheap, chocolate chips, whatever. This was half price recently, so I bought a few blocks of this, and it's 200 odd grams, 180, so I use half a block for a batch of ice cream that fills 2 of their tubs. So I just get half of it, break it up into the Thermomix, except it doesn't want to break today. Like that, and then we're going to grate it up. Alright, so we just grate it up nice and fine like that so that it cooks through the custard nice and easily. Then I had egg yolks, so normally I go up to 4 egg yolks depending on how many eggs I have available to me. So I'm going to separate them. So we've got 4 egg yolks. I've got 4 egg whites there that I'm going to put aside. I will refrigerate these. Alright, so I've got 4 egg yolks and then coconut cream and sugar. Now the chocolate's dark, so it still needs a little bit of sugar, and ice cream, like most frozen things, is less sweet once it's frozen, so I still put a bit of sugar in it. So I do around about, what's this? This is half a cup, which is probably around about what I do, about 150 grams. That's about 100, so about 150 for the 2 batches of ice cream to create. So I have the deluxe, which has tubs that are about 700 mils each. So what we need to do is we need to aim for around about the 1.4 out of it. So what I tend to do is about 1.2 of cream, and then the eggs, the sugar and everything else will bump up that quantity. So this is just the coconut cream that's been decanted. It's watered down slightly. So I can get away with putting about, I normally put probably 600 to 800 of this, and then add a bit more water just to, because it doesn't need to be this rich for them. Like, it just doesn't need to be that much cream on it. So I'm just going to top that up to 1200 with the water. Now water's very yellow at the moment, lots of tannins in the water. It's heavily filtered, but it still happens. So, and then we've got 4 egg yolks to go in there as well. I might grab a spatula to make sure I get all of that out. So I'll just scrape all of that in there. And then I normally add a little bit of vanilla and a little bit of cocoa. Vanilla is here, but I think the cocoa powder's on the other side of the bench. I'll go and grab it. So a little bit of vanilla. Pinch of salt is always good in these ice creams, especially chocolate. I'm going to scrape some of that chocolate off the edges here as well. But the whole Thermomix bowl heats up anyway, so do that. I just need that cocoa. You could, of course, add more chocolate and then you wouldn't need the cocoa, but cocoa's cheaper than chocolate in general. So I just do about 50 grams of cocoa on top of that chocolate that's already in there, and then we just cook it. So that's the beauty of the Thermomix, and one of the things that I go on about all the time, my favourite things, is custards. So everything for the custard is in there. We don't have a thickener like a flour or anything because it's going to be used for ice cream, so it doesn't need it. So then we just set it to 10 minutes at 90 degrees. And at speed 3, and then it will run and it'll be done. Alright, so that's cooked. So that's all it needs to do, is it just cooks. There's a bit of chocolate on the edges here, but it's melted. And it's not like a custard that you're going to churn that really needs to be made sure to be exactly the right consistency and stuff like that, or it just doesn't really work. Because it's going through the Ninja Creamy, which is the beauty of the Ninja Creamy. Because I have a churn, I have a compressor-based churn, I spent a fortune on it and I love it. It makes some gorgeous ice cream, but it's a lot of work. So the point of this was to make things simple. So now all I do is I pour this chocolate custard straight into the max fill line, which I should have pretty much spot on the right amount. For that, there's a tiny bit left over there. So max fill line for the ice cream like that, and all I do is put a lid on it. I leave it on the bench for about an hour just to take the heat off it so that it doesn't heat up my whole freezer, and then it goes in the freezer. Because this is a cooked custard, it'll be 48 hours, 72 hours before it's really ready to be churned because it's so hot. It takes a while to come down to temperature, it takes a while to freeze all the way through and that sort of thing. But that's a favourite, completely unhealthy, but favourite ice cream of the kids. So the other sort that we do, let me put this aside and grab another couple of containers. And I have 15 of these jars. So the other thing I do is either fruit-based, so frozen bananas, pineapple, all that sort of stuff works really well, but we don't have much in the way of frozen fruit at the moment. We're a week off groceries and we've gone through it. So the other thing we do is use some of those protein powders. So I bought the Gay Time flavoured protein powder to try. And what I'm going to do is this one I'm going to try one for Daryl and I to share. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a serve of this. Now a serve is supposed to go with 200 to 250 mils of water and mixed well. So what I tend to do is I only want a half tub for Daryl and I to share. So I do a serve of this and then some cream and a bit of water. Now the carb counts on these aren't superb, 5.4 grams carbs per serve. So that's fine because we'll share a serve. Generally speaking, I find it strong enough with just one, and then we bring it up that amount. So with the cream and a bit of water to top it up. I could do all cream. Cream's expensive, water's free. So I tend to find that it's basically I'm doing it with milk by doing it with cream and water, but without the carbs. So all I do is a scoop of this. It smells lovely, so we will see how that goes. And then I'm going to grab the cream out of the fridge and some water. Now, some of these flavors do benefit from a little bit of sweetener, like just a tablespoon of sweetener or something, but because I haven't tried this flavor before, I'm not going to do that. If it's not quite sweet enough when we go to serve it, I have some of that sugar-free cookie butter, so I'll just put a tablespoon through of that and mix it through. So all I do is I'm going to just add 100 grams because that is what I find, 50 grams each is a good sort of serving size of cream. And then I'm going to grab some water and top that up to the 3-ish mark. And then that'll give us around about 150 to 200 grams of ice cream each, which is plenty. So about the 200 grams of water, bring it up to the 300 grams, which adding on the protein powder, and when it's whizzed, it ends up gaining volume as well, and that will be 1 serve. So I just need to grab the stick blender. Had to fix some goggles for a child. So yes, get this plugged in, and we're going to just blend this. As I said, some people use extra sweetener, some people use other things in here, xanthan gums, things like that. This protein powder has most of those in it, so it doesn't need anything extra in it. So we're just going to stick with that as... Now, the other thing I've seen added is raw egg yolks, which I would be comfortable with because they're my own chickens, but at the same time, I don't think it's needed. It's got a lot of protein, it's protein powder. We're not lacking on protein in the rest of our diet, generally speaking. So it's less about being a protein ice cream and more about being a really nice tasting, but lower carb, lower sugar type treat. So it's less about it being that protein aspect. That's just the way we get the flavor. So that's all I do. And you can just fill them like that and spin them like that. And then that way, like, I could fill the whole thing, spin the whole thing, put some back in the freezer, but I find it much better to just have small serves of all the different flavors that we like. So I'm going to do that. The other thing I bought this time when I bought the Macro Mike, which I haven't tried before, is this chocolate fudge protein pudding. Now, this is apparently instant pudding. So you put like 40 grams in with 80 to 90 mils of cold liquid, and you have cold pudding, or you can warm it up in the microwave. And I sort of sat there and went, well, I'd imagine it's got a bit more thickness in it than the other one because it thickens up to a pudding, but it'd probably be really nice as an ice cream. So the carb count on it per serving is 4.4 grams, so similar to the normal protein powders. It doesn't say that it's got any like starches or anything in it, so maybe it's just a different ratio of guar gum and stuff in there. I don't know, but I thought it would be worth a try. This, again, it was the Black Friday sales that I bought these things, so I'm going to try one for the kids and they can compare this to the custard based ice cream that I buy. I think I got a vanilla protein pudding as well, but the chocolate one appeals to me as an ice cream. It smells nice. So for them I will do 2 scoops because it's going to be a full jug for them, and I'll just do a half jug again on the other one with just 1 scoop for Daryl and I to try. So with theirs I'll do their coconut cream. Now obviously this only has to be with water, so I'm only going to do partly coconut cream and partly water because it's just not going to need all that. I need a bit more water. And because it's cream, not milk, what we're basically doing is watering it down to a milk. And like you think about it, most people being plant-based, they use almond milk, which is basically water anyway. So we're doing something similar. We're doing that. It makes the coconut cream go further and it doesn't make any difference. Now, I don't wash these between doing these. It really, the little bit of dairy on there isn't an issue for the kids anymore, and I'm lazy. Pretty much just lazy. Alright, so I didn't look at what it says the ratio of. It says only 80 to 90 mils of milk to this, and this is a much higher ratio of milk to the powder. I wonder if it's going to be strong enough tasting. I might grab a teaspoon and just give it a taste. I don't know. We'll see. It's chocolatey enough. Just top that up to the fill line after the froth settled. We'll give it a go. We'll see what it's like. The ratio, which might be where the... See, that bag says it's only 10 serves worth, and the serves are only... It says 90 mils of... On here, it's only got 90 mils of liquid, whereas the 40 grams of the other stuff is 250 to 300 mils. But this could be exactly the same ingredients, but with only 80 to 90, it creates thicker. Like, that might be the difference between the thickness. Don't know. We're going to give it a go. Trial and error. So that one's done. It's not as well mixed as it could be because it doesn't really matter because it's going through the creamy. That is the beauty of it. So this one I'm going to try doing for Daryl and I. So I'm just going to do similar as to what I did before. About 100 grams of cream and about 200 grams of water. And then we're just going to mix that. Again, I'm not concerned about the little bit of coconut cream on the thing because it just really doesn't worry me enough to go and clean it. My sink's also not working at the moment. The drainage pipe on my sink in this kitchen is disconnected at the moment, so I have to walk over to the dishwashing sink to be able to do my dishes, to wash my hands and my dishes, and I'm a bit over it. So that's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to give these a go. And I'm not going to make any more this afternoon. It is already 4 o'clock. I did want to make another vanilla one that with the allulose, but we still have 1 tub left in the fridge. So I'm going to leave it at this for the moment and get all this put away and then decide what I'm doing next. Doing the mum thing where you go to do one thing and you get distracted by another one. I put the ice cream, cleared space in the freezer for the ice cream, and remembered that I hadn't popped the rest of these out. Now obviously children have helped themselves to them, which is another good reason to pop these out. But there was discussion about trying to manipulate it and get them to pop out. Nah, not gonna work. Now that they're frozen, I was hoping that maybe I could like just roll them out almost, but no. Have to pop them out individually. Now they're frozen, the tray's nice and cold, so let's see if we can just pop them all out. Without putting my fingers on them too much because my hands are warm and they melt them. But nothing seems to be working with, like I was hoping I could, but doesn't look like anything is going to work to just sort of pop them out that doesn't involve my hands on them. So I'm better off just popping them all from the back, I think. Oh, so pushing and dragging works. You just have to make sure that they don't shoot where you can't find them. So pushing at one hole and then running it down works to a degree, but not superbly. But I've got all the mess still because, as I said, I got sidetracked before I cleaned up. So if you push one, drag, they are coming out one by one. Let me see if I can get the angle right to show you what I'm doing. Push it and just sort of... Oh, and then I just shot one at the oven, so at the camera, so you know, you have to be careful. But pushing and dragging does work to a degree, but it's still fiddly. Very, very fiddly. Yes, I don't know if I'll be using it again. I really like the idea of it, but I think I'm too lazy to do it in chips. I think that what I'll do is just freeze it in a bark, and that works a little bit easier. Hold it, stretch it, and just run your finger along it. I don't know, maybe I can be convinced to give it one more go, because I would like to get the chocolate chips a little bit better texture. So, you know, there is that. So, I don't know. We'll see. All right, I'll see how, you know, things progress over the next week. Of course, they went in here and some of them were already melty because I'd had to... Look, let's get them in here. And I should have used a smaller jar because I'm probably going to have to scrape them off the bottom of the jar when I want to use them. But I'm just going to store them in the freezer, and they will be a really special treat. Anyway, you know, the things I do to myself. All right, so that's all I got out of it too. Yep. And yeah, those ones are melted to the bottom of the jar, so that's going to be fun too. Anyway, I'm just going to stick the jar back in the freezer for the moment. This can go to be washed, and I can just call that a semi-fail. I'm really semi-cleaned up because I really want to make those other donuts. I know I'm punishing myself here by, it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, but I really want to make them. So I'm going to try. But as I said, I don't have enough almond flour, so I'm going to use almond meal. So I'm going to make some first. Now the recipe calls for 1.5 cups of almond flour. I'm not sure what that is in weight, so I'm not real sure how many almonds it's going to require to make that kind of a quantity. A cup of almonds is, that's half a cup, but of course flour is like, so 1.5 cups in whole, we're looking at 250 grams. We will see what this comes out to as a meal. All right, so we've got almond meal. It's not quite as fine as the flour, and it's not blanched almonds, it's natural almonds, which will make a difference, but we're making it into chocolate donuts, so I really don't think it's gonna make that much difference. Grabbed a bowl, because I'm gonna tip it into the bowl so that I can see approximately how much. I'm not a huge fan of recipes that use cup measures, but a lot of these do. So let's go back to, out of curiosity, if we go half, 1, 1.5, we're looking at about 167. So I'm going to bump that to 175 so that I can use that as a measuring stick next time, and we'll see we've got a bit extra there just in case. So we've got almond meal. Now, actually, I should have pureed the cottage cheese first. I don't have another bowl. I shouldn't be doing this at this time of day, should I? I'm going to go grab the cottage cheese. So the cottage cheese I've got at the moment is the Woolworths creamed cottage cheese. And I have found that lots of cottage cheeses make a difference. The choice of cottage cheese makes a difference to how recipes go. So we will have a go. So there's recipes that have 2 cups and recipes that have 1 cup. Some that also have coconut flour and some that don't. I think I'm going to go with 2 cups. And this is fairly dry, so I think it should be all right. I wanted to check that. So we're going to go with 2 cups worth. Oh, I need a spatula. Now this is only a 1/4 cup, but I'm going to weigh that. So a 1/4 cup's about 65 grams. So that means that 2 cups should be around about 260 grams. So let's work on that, because I much prefer to have weight measurements. So about 260 grams of that. We'll see how it goes. And then it's got, we're going to blend that up first. I want to make that nice and smooth. So we're going to blend that first. And that's pretty smooth just with that. So that's done. All right, now this isn't a Thermomix recipe, so I'm just gonna do it the way I reckon I should, which means I think I should add the wet ingredients now, and then I'll fold in the dry. So we want 4 eggs. 1, 2, 3. These are pretty small eggs, which I'll have to remember next time I try and make it. 4. So we've got 4 eggs in there. It also wants a tablespoon of vanilla. So we'll put a generous amount of vanilla in there. Okay, and we'll give that a go. Let's mix that up first. And then I'm going to add the dry, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to, I like simple. I like being able to make these straight up in the Thermomix sort of recipes, or in a blender or whatever else. So that is all the wet ingredients. I'm going to add the 1.5 cups of, what did we decide this was? I'd have to look back at the video. 1.5 cups weight wise. 1/2 cup, 1 cup, 1.5, 190. I think I said 175 last time, which is why cup measures don't work for me really well. So let's bump that to 200 as a standard. When I go through this video, I'll make notes of what I did. They want 2 teaspoons of baking powder, which is very low. But I have a fresh one, so that's fine. Now, the 3 boys are being really, really loud in the pool today, so I may end up having to try and drop some background noise. because I've asked them to calm down a couple of times and nothing has happened. So we're going to go 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Then it also has some sweetener, so I'll just use I'm going to use the brown monk fruit because I'm going to add a bit of cinnamon to this too. That's not in the recipe, but I really liked that cinnamon flavoured ones that I did yesterday. So I'm trying to mimic that. So that was eggs, wasn't it? So half a cup of sweetener. I don't know what the weight is, and I've used all my cups have wet stuff in them. All my mismatched measuring implements. All right, so it says half a cup of sweetener, so that's a quarter. I didn't look at what this ended up weighing. Half a cup. All right, I'm going to add some cinnamon to that because I wanted that, and preferably some ginger, I think. And they added cocoa, so instead of cocoa, I'm going to add some ginger and some cinnamon. Of course, my ginger jar is empty. Oops. And I'm having trouble finding my cinnamon jar because nothing can... Let's go chocolate. I've already got the cocoa powder out. So it says 1/3 of a cup of cocoa. I think this is the last of my cocoa, mind you. So let's just go chocolate, and a heaped quarter will do me. And we're going to just see how we go. So let's have a look at what we've got texture-wise. It's definitely a batter compared to the really thick piped dough that I did for the protein ones. And I did think about adding a scoop of protein powder in this to... It doesn't taste bad. Shall we try cooking them like this? And then, you know, the kids can eat it. You know, it's got cottage cheese. The kids can't eat them, so I have to eat them. What the animals do. This looks like it'd be spoonable though into those things at this texture. I hate trying new recipes, especially ones that just don't seem to make a lot of sense in some of the quantities. Like, I look at them and I go, I reckon that's not quite right, but we're going to give it a go. We're going to try baking them. Do you know what would probably work really well for... I need to get this coconut cream back in the fridge. Work really well for doing this would be a pancake pen. And you know what? I've got a pancake pen. Can I find it? No. But one of those cheap Kmart pancake pens I think would work wonderfully for getting this in. I don't think it's worth the piping bag, though it would be a lot quicker than spooning it. I don't know if spooning it's going to... It is thickening up a bit as it sits, which is normal as the dry ingredients suck up some of the wet. I don't know if I want to spend that much time. It looks a little full too. I think I'll have to grab the piping bag out again. Alright, back to this rigmarole again. Donuts may be another thing that's sort of off the cards with the amount of work it takes. I don't really have the right spatula to be scooping this into the piping bag either. Alright, making a mess already. You know, it's much wetter, so it's filling... Oh, look at that. I'm doing well today. I really probably shouldn't have attempted this when I'm tired. It's this late in the afternoon, but I really want donuts. I'm spilling it everywhere. It is a lot sloppier than the other batter, so it dripped out, but something's getting stuck now too. Whether it's a bit of almond meal or something that's too large for the tip. Of course, like, you know, things can't be... I'm already struggling and now I'm making a mess everywhere. making a mess galore. My hands are covered in chocolate, the tray's covered in chocolate, and yet it's not going where it needs to go. Give me a sec. Let's see. I shoved it back up, but it's going to still want to try and come out, and it's not fitting, and the bag's causing issues. Oh, goodness me. Friday afternoon. This is a super task for a Friday afternoon. I just dropped the tip in there. Let's see about doing it without a tip in there at all. That works, sort of. My little poop donuts. Still quicker than using a spoon. Probably just as messy though. Anyway, I'll stop torturing you, and I'll turn this off, and then I'll show you if they work. Then that's when we'll come back, as if they when they work. That's what we're going to tell ourselves, isn't it? When they work. So yeah, I'll be back. So firstly, Daryl got home and I went inside forgetting that I had stuff in the oven. So they're probably a little overcooked. Secondly, this batter has like cupcaked. I should have just made cupcakes out of it. Why I'm bothering to try and do the novelty of a donut, I do not know. None of it, this looks burnt as such, so I'm going to let it cool and I'll try popping some out and we'll see what it looks like and what it tastes like. So I asked the kids, I said I had some chicken defrosted, what do you want with it? And the general consensus was green curry, which works because we have rice left over from the other night. But Daryl and I will just have it over cauliflower rice. So what I might do is I might just, because these are skin on breasts, I might just butterfly them slightly and pan cook them so that we get crispy skin on them. So I'm just going to take the breast like that. Sometimes I go this way as well and fold that out just to make it nice and thin so that it cooks evenly without drying out too much in the pan. But just like that, butterfly it out, and we'll cook it with the skin side down in the pan with a little bit of ghee and a little bit of salt, and that will be tasty. So I'm just going to do that with all of the breasts that I've got, and then I'll get started on the other stuff because the rice is already cooked, so I would just probably heat that up with a tin of coconut cream in it to make it coconut rice for the curry. And then I just need to cook the curry paste off, put some frozen veggies and chicken in, and it's done. Nice easy meal that was requested. And it's pretty early, but as I said, I haven't eaten yet today, so I'm hungry, and we're pretty early eaters anyway. I don't know what time it is. It's 5 o'clock. So we'll get this. Started to cook. This is probably the longest winded part of this recipe, because if I cut it up really small, it'd cook a whole lot quicker and I could cook it in the curry paste, but I really like it done like this. And considering Daryl and I are having just this with cauliflower rice, like that one butterflied really nicely. Let's see if we can get this one too as well, and then Daryl and I can just have a whole breast on top of our cauliflower rice with the green curry sauce, and the kids can have the other three with their veggies and rice and all that. So I'm just going to put some salt on it and then get it cooking. So they've got leftover rice. All I'm going to do is tip a tin of coconut cream in and warm it up. That should be enough to get the moisture in here enough that it won't stick to the bottom, and then they'll have really super quick coconut rice to go with their dinner. And I found this in the back of the pantry. I didn't think I had any of this brand left, but I'm going to open this one to use for dinner, and I have the chicken already cooking. Alright, so we've got one batch of chicken cooking there, second batch of chicken cooking. I've got this pot with some ghee in it and this pot with some ghee in it, and then this is a clean pot. Oh, it's a bit warm. That I was going to make rice in until I realised I had spare rice. So I'm going to put their rice back there to warm up. So we're going to be well and truly using burners today. Let me get this one turned on. And I'm pushing 1, 2. There we go. I got the numbers wrong. There we go, those two. So that rice, I'm just going to turn that down a little bit and get that rice warmed through. We've got these two. So these two are going to be curry paste. I need a spoon. Alright, so I'm going to split the curry paste half between the two pots. I need a stirrer of some sort. Alrighty, got the curry paste cooking in that little bit of fat. Going to add a tin of coconut cream to the kids' ones. And then I've got that half a tin that I put in the fridge from the other day as well. So just going to use that half a tin for ours. Lower the carbs just a little bit. And we want to cook this until all the oils rise to the surface from the curry powder. Can you get me a cube of the lemon or lime juice that's in the drawer out, please? Alright, now this chicken should be done. I'm going to turn these off and just let them sit. Kids' chicken as well. So, like that. These are coming up to a simmer with the curry paste and the coconut cream. The kids' ones, I'm doing real simple today. I am going to just toss the bag of frozen veggies straight into this. And let them cook in the curry. And I'm going to do the same with ours, but with the cauliflower rice. As I said, this is super simple. I'm very tired. So coconut rice, cauliflower rice there. In the curry, and then I'm going to add the few little flavors to these. So we're going to add a little bit of soy sauce. We're going to add a little bit of fish sauce. And put one of those in each. We got lemon or lime, I'm not sure which. It's a lot of, they're big cubes, but I quite like that tangy flavour anyway. And then normally I add a little bit of chicken stock as well, just to bump the quantity of liquid, but I don't want to add more coconut cream, and then I don't want to, because that bumps the carbs in ours for a start, but also it just doesn't need that much extra fat in it, but we need a little bit more liquid, so I add a bit of water and a little bit of stock powder to that.
Those are donuts.
For us, but the donuts, yeah, I don't know. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water to each of them and a little bit of stock powder, and I'll put that aside just in case I want some more liquid for them. Just about 2 teaspoons of stock powder, the Vegeta. You can try to pull them out if you want. I think they're going to stick anyway. Yeah, they were not much of a success. So now I'm just going to bring all these back up to the boil, and then I'll cut up the chicken to go in them. Alright, our curry rice as such is done. It's very spicy though. I might have to have a look at what I can do to tone that down. I cut up the 3 breasts that I cooked for the kids, and so I'm just going to put that all in with the green curry and veggies. The rice is pretty much heated through. No, it's fine, just leave it there for the moment. Okay. So, plenty of chicken in there with lots of sauce and the veggies. We're just going to let that come back up to a simmer now that everything's added in there, and then they will be ready to go. Alright, this is ours. Ours has ended up a bit of a green curry soup full of cauliflower, and then we had a chicken breast each to go on top, just like that. Now, it is spicy, like really spicy, so that's going to be interesting, but that's done for us, and theirs is ready to go. They're still feeding the animals, but once they're finished, they got a pot of the green curry there and the coconut rice, and they can serve themselves and eat up as they want and then have dessert afterwards. Now, the donuts, huge flop. Let me show you. So they spread everywhere, as I said, when they came out of the oven, but they have stuck really badly. I did spray these with oil, but they are completely stuck in. Now, part of that could be because I overcooked them, because I totally forgot they were in the oven. They're still moist, but they're going to have to be scraped out of there. And flavour-wise, they honestly don't taste like much of anything at all. Can't taste the cottage cheese in them, but can't really taste chocolate either. And the texture of the almond meal, of course, is rougher than almond flour because it's got bits in it, which I don't necessarily dislike. They kind of taste a little bit like a chocolate cookie rather than anything else. They have that similar texture and mild flavour, but yeah, they don't look attractive. They were a lot of effort for not a lot of results. So we probably won't be doing these ones again. So that was pretty much it for today. As I said, so dinner's done. The kids are finishing the animals, and then they will come and serve themselves dinner. And yeah, I am pooped. I'm ready to just get this video edited and then pretty much go to bed. So thank you for joining me again, and I will see you tomorrow. So tomorrow is the food hamper. So we will do the hamper and probably some sorting of the stuff from the hamper as well as tomorrow's sort of day of video. And then we will see where we go from there. So see you later, guys. I went hunting for the cucumbers, and I'd mentioned that I was going to get her to have a look today, and this is what she's brought inside. We've got some silver slices. These can actually get a bit bigger if you want them to, the white ones, because they're silver slices, so they will go in slices. And these are mostly pickling cucumbers, but because the bed is hard to get to, they get some that are overgrown, but the kids actually eat them like that, so it doesn't really matter. But that was today's cucumbers.